For those who don't know me, my name's Yvonne Birchall. I'm the Secretary of Kent Action Against Live Exports. My husband and I have been fighting this horrible trade for the last 19 years, and there are some amongst you that have been fighting it longer. We got involved when the exporters were banned off the ferries in Dover, and the exporters took to their own ships. And I went down on the 20th of April 1995 out of curiosity, just to have a look at what was going on. In my younger days I worked with live sheep, so I care passionately about sheep. I care about calves, but I also care passionately about sheep, because they are not the idiots that the farmers would like us to think they are. Anyway, what I saw that day changed my life forever. And when I die, I shall still feel as I do now, that it is wrong to export animals in the way that they do. It is wrong to transport animals thousands of miles merely to slit their throats. And I think it's totally unacceptable in this year of 2014 that we're still doing things that they were doing 30 and 40 years ago. We could do better than that. Over the years, when we started, there were 30 lorries a day going out of Dover on their own ships, and it was horrendous. Over the years, constant campaigning, constant pressure has reduced that to this small trade that we have here now. But one lorry is too many. There should be none. The men that are doing it now are the worst of the bunch. They were always the worst then, and they're the worst now. Underwater and Lomas, his backer. Tom Lomas is an evil scrote and should, quite honestly, he never got enough when he got convicted in Dover. In Dover this year, in February. He didn't get enough sentence, but he got the one word guilty, and that's what we wanted. Over the years, it was mainly at Dover, and then suddenly it came to Ramsgate because they screwed up at Dover. And unfortunately, Ramsgate Thanet District Council were unable to say no, because they know how to play the courts to these exporters. Every time you stand against them, they go to the court, and the courts back them, because we have European legislation that says that although the animals are classed since 2009 as sentient beings, that was the Treaty of Lisbon, the Treaty of Rome overrides that when they go for export and they become goods. So they're just the same as a tin of beans, a cabbage, an apple. They've got no feelings, no fear, no pain, no stress. It doesn't matter. And so as a result, this is why they win in the courts every time. Free movement of trade. And, animals are just trade. We have worked very hard at Ramsgate, and we've got wonderful supporters. I mean, the people around here have been fantastic. And the first night that it went through Ramsgate, there was Ian, me, Ross, and Louis, and that were the only people that were there. And I wondered at the time if we would get support, but we did, and it has gradually grown, and it's been wonderful. And just recently we've been doing these peaceful sit-downs. Now, we felt they were meaningful protests. It gave us a feeling of that we were actually doing something. The exporters brought their lorries down, people sat down, they turned, went back to the top roundabout, came back again, and the police moved us out of the way, and the lorries got in. But of course, Underwater doesn't like this, and he has pressed our police to impose a section 14 on us, which the Chief Constable has done. This section 14 we believe is illegal. We have an IPCC ruling that says the one that they put on us before, at the end of 2012, was wrong, and we still feel that we stand by it, that it is still wrong. They are, after the publicity the other night on television, they are reviewing it. But of course, whenever they review it, they take people like James, who was arrested under Section 14 on Tuesday night and kept 16 hours in Margate Police Station. they've already given him his punishment. They don't need to do any more else because he's already been in a cell for 16 hours. So, quite honestly, and he can't come here either because he hasn't going to assembly of more than 3 people. So, he's going to be at Churchill's if anybody goes to Churchill's. But, I mean, this is disgusting how they are treating us. But the only way they can hold us in the cage that they've built for us is by using loads of police. I counted over 50 police, and there were 11 police vehicles to control us. They didn't need all that then. They were allowing us to have a peaceful protest, but now they're wanting us to be caged. They have to have all these police, and it costs a fortune. The more people there, the more police they will have to keep us caged. Please help us, join us, come to the sailings. You know, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to open your mouth, just be there, just stand there. If you can't stand seeing the animals, then turn your backs, but at least be there and support what we need to do, because we have to keep the pressure up. At the end of this year, beginning of next year, the ship will be coming under this new legislation that's come out of Europe for emissions, which means that it can't use the oil, the heavy oil that it uses now to work the engines. We don't know what will happen then, but at the moment there seems to be no change. The reason that they aren't going out so many at the moment is because there is not so much trade available to him. Our pressure has put other hauliers off using his ship, so mainly his own vehicles use his ship. I can give you an example. Last year out of Dover, 115 lorry of sheep went. This year, to date, and I don't believe there's going to be any more before Christmas. There might be, but I don't think so. There's been 73. So that's a third down on what he did last year. That's a big difference. And that's been made by people like you turning out night after night when there's a sailing and saying, we will not accept this trade. We don't need it. The country doesn't need it. If the farming industry needs this small trade to keep it going, which the NFU says it does, then the farming industry is in terrible trouble, because that's not making them any money. No way. It's making a few greedy exporters and a few evil men money, and that's the only thing that it's doing. And we must stand against them. We have everything to fight. It's David and Goliath. It's us against the authorities, against the police, against the exporters. But at the end of the day, we can do it, and we can get live exports banned. Thank you.